to another video. Sorry, this place is a mess right now because if you didn't know, we're building a house and half our house is still in our apartment. So great background for a video. It just looks stupid. I should get rid of this. Better? Anyways, I asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me questions because I wanted to film a video for you guys because I haven't filmed a video in like too long. Alright, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your guys' Instagram names because some of these I just don't want to offend. Anyways, the first question is, when you first went vegan, did you slip up? And if so, how did you get back on track? I've been struggling going back and forth, but I know I feel better plant-based. So I feel like a lot of people slip up when they first go plant-based, especially if they're doing it for health reasons instead of ethical reasons. I didn't slip up on not eating vegan, but when I first kind of went plant-based, I was eating 100% raw and I fucked up a lot. I think I went like a whole month just eating 100% raw, and then after that I kind of just binged on a lot of vegan junk food and I didn't feel good, and then that's when I went like raw till 4. Also, I feel like a lot of people mess up with things like whey or things like honey or things that you wouldn't usually think aren't vegan, but they actually aren't. The biggest thing though is to just do the best that you can and make sure that you're eating enough food and make sure that you're eating food that satisfies you, so you're not just eating like what somebody else is eating and trying to eat like raw vegan or trying to like do a juice cleanse or trying to like do it for a weight loss reason or even health reason, because I feel like the most important thing is to get the vegan part down, because everything is just going to be easier when you're eating vegan. So even if you're like screwing up with a bunch of vegan junk food, it's gonna be better than screwing up with a bunch of McDonald's or normal junk food, you know? But I feel like a lot of people do actually mess up when they first go vegan, and you shouldn't feel bad about it because it's like your intention is to eat vegan, and it's probably just because you're not eating enough, and it can be a really big transition, and a lot of people actually do transition slowly into it. So people that I see who go from eating like McDonald's every day to eating 100% starch-based, like super clean eating, I feel like those people can kind of mess up a lot because it's a huge shift, whereas other people, when they cut out, you know, eggs and dairy and meat, and then they go and they cut out junk food or oils or salt or sugar or whatever, and they do it more slowly, it doesn't seem like such a big jump. So definitely just figure out what you're, screwing up on and find a healthier way to make it. And that's probably my best advice for you. The next question is, are you planning on having or adopting kids? No, we're not. My husband Derek has a vasectomy, so we don't want to have any kids. We have our dogs, and we really just want to, not like we have anything like really against kids, it's just, if we did want kids in the future, it's not like we're saying the option of adopting isn't totally like open, because it is, but if we wanted kids in the future, we would just adopt them, but we probably more likely just get more dogs or something. Somebody asked if I've ever been on birth control. I was on birth control for a really, really long time, like maybe from when I was like 13 to 19, so maybe like 6 years. I can't exactly remember, but I also smoked at the time, so I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and I was on like the lowest possible dose of birth control. If you have to take birth control, which I honestly think the lady comp method, if I like had to, if my husband didn't have a vasectomy and I had to do some type of a birth control, I would do the lady comp method, which is basically where you take your temperature every morning, because when we ovulate, our temperature goes through the roof, or it goes up quite considerably, so that you can actually tell that you're ovulating, and it tells you whether it's like safe or you have a chance of pregnancy. During like every morning, it will tell you if you're at risk for getting pregnant. So people that use the lady comp method basically just will take their temperature every morning, and then, you know, if it says like red, danger zone, don't have sex that day or use a condom or something. But I know it's worked very, very well for Ellen Fisher. Her YouTube name is Mango Island Mama. I'll put the link below, but she's never had a child that she didn't intentionally try to have. She has 2 young boys, and I think her and her husband are actually done having kids now, but she has an entire video on it. But that's what I would recommend. If you actually have to, for some reason, take a birth control, I would suggest getting the lowest possible dose. It only increases your chances of pregnancy in the way that, like, you have to take it at the same time every day, which I know most girls do. Like, they'll set an alarm on their phone and they'll take it at the same time every single day. But yeah, you don't have, you know, like an hour window. You don't have a lot of leeway if you're taking a very low dose hormone birth control. So you have to be very diligent about it, but that is what I would recommend. Thankfully, I'm lucky and my husband has a vasectomy. Somebody just asked, what is your best advice for being surrounded by non-vegans constantly? I think the biggest thing with non-vegans is they're very intrigued by the way that you eat, and they think it's really, really weird and out there, and you know, they want to know like why you eat the way that you do eat and why you decide not to eat animal products and things like that. And most people will get very defensive about their own diet, because deep down, like, if you tell somebody that you're vegan, if you're like, yeah, I don't eat meat, fish, fowl, eggs, dairy, or honey, they'll be like, oh, well, I don't eat that much meat, you know, like I don't really eat that much dairy or whatever. But people get very defensive about their own diets when you bring up your diet, because I feel deep down like everybody knows that we shouldn't be harming animals, and we shouldn't be crowding them in huge factory farms, and we shouldn't be shoving them to their death. The biggest advice that I can give you when you're talking to non-vegans is to just accept them for the way that they are, and understand, like, you were that way at one point as well. Like, you haven't been a vegan probably your whole life. There's very few people that have, and at some point, you know, you were inspired, or you were enlightened, or you saw the way that animals were being treated and the other side. And just remember like how you were inspired and how you changed, because like forcibly we can't change people, you know. We have to change people through just living our lives as an inspiration, and giving people support and giving people guidance, and not judging other people for what they do, because we'd be total I would be a total hypocrite if I judged every vegan or non-vegan as this terrible person who's just stupid and ignorant, and they don't give a shit about anybody but themselves, because I was that person like 4 years ago. So I definitely think a lot of people evolve to understand veganism, and they have to be like open to receiving that type of message, because if they're very closed-minded and they're very like tunnel vision, and they just care about the way that they look, and they want to eat paleo, and they want to like do this and be a caveman, then they're probably not going to go vegan. Alright, so this is the last question that I'm going to answer for this Q&A, but I'll be making another video. Well, Mukbang Monday will be on Monday, and that'll be the next video. So maybe I'll answer some more of these if Derek and I run out of stuff to talk about. The last question though is, do you have any advice on how to keep motivation up during a weight loss journey? How did you do it? So if you guys don't know, like, it has taken me literally 2 years to get to where I am. So it's taken me like 2 years to lose, God, how much weight have I lost? Over 65 pounds. And I mean, obviously there's a lot of ups and downs with weight loss journeys and things like that, but every time that I find myself getting off track, it is only, and it is, I mean, only because I lose sight of what I really want and what I'm really working towards. So I either get in a very like judgmental state about myself, and I'm like, oh, I don't look good enough, this is so fucking hard, like, why is this taking me so long, why don't I look like this, why don't I have, you know, the body that I want, or whatever. And I start to get like really down on myself, which does not help. It does not help to be incredibly judgmental about yourself, or to beat yourself up in the mirror, or to put yourself down. Like, that is not something that you need from other people, and it's definitely not something that you need from yourself. Don't let your self-talk become something that you would never say to another human being. Like, so many people say just the worst things about themselves, like, look at my ass, I'm so fucking fat, like, why can't I fit into my jeans, my stomach is disgusting, I hate the way that my face looks, like, whatever, like, things that you would never ever say to another person, you should not be saying to yourself. With that said, I think the biggest thing that you can do to motivate yourself is to write down exactly what you want and focus on it every single day. So there's a video from my friend Jessie, her name on YouTube is Little Crunchy, and she talks about defining your higher self. So for a lot of people, I know a lot of you are into like the law of attraction and, you know, things like that. It's along those lines. So basically what you do every day is you take a notebook and just get a notebook for basically this one purpose. So all you're going to do every single morning is write down your life, yourself, everything about your existence, the way that you would want it if it was exactly perfect. Like, just the way that you see yourself if you could have everything that you want, right? So for a lot of people, this might be a monetary thing, it might be characteristics about themselves, it might be all kinds of other things. So you could write down like I am, and write it kind of in the present tense. So just kind of pretend for 5 minutes every day that you can be whatever you want to be without any limitations. So you could start by saying like, I am so happy and grateful that I have a loving partner, a loving family, that I have an amazing job where I earn X amount of dollars. I am so grateful that I am healthy. And you can also write down things that you currently already have, you know, like, I'm grateful that I'm healthy and that I work out 3 times a week, and I am an active person, and I weigh 110 pounds, or my measurements are XXX, or I fit into size whatever jeans. Like, it can be as shallow as you want it to be. Like, some people would be like, oh, you're just talking about your looks and you like what you want and stuff. Like, just make it whatever you want. There's no limitations on this. No one is ever going to read this. Put it in a place where, you know, nobody's gonna find it, and just make it like your personal journal, and every day write down how your life would be if it was perfect. But the goal of this is to actually feel good when you're doing it. So don't feel like, oh, I don't have this yet, and I don't have this yet, and I don't have this yet, and be feeling like anger and resentment and bad feelings. You want to feel good, and you want to sit there and kind of visualize this as you're writing it. So the biggest part of the law of attraction is actually acting, feeling, and doing the things that you want right now. So pretending that time like doesn't really exist, and that everything is on an even plane, and whatever exists in the future you have now. But just think about like how you would feel if you were, you know, the perfect weight. You would wear the clothes that you've always wanted to wear. You would dress in a way that makes you feel beautiful and attractive and shows yourself off. You would walk around with confidence. You would do certain things, like you would do things differently. You would look at yourself with love and admiration and different feelings in the mirror than you do now. So it's all about getting yourself to that feeling frequency and just staying there and just being like, you know what, like, I'm gonna be a confident ass bitch right now, because there's no reason to not be confident or not feel good about yourself. It's only you putting a limitation on, I have to be this before I can feel good, or I have to look like this before I can be confident, or I have to, you know, eat this way and eat perfect and whatever before I can be healthy. But it's all just, it all comes from within. So if you really put your mind towards it and you really just focus on what you want and write that down every day, and you go throughout your day as though those things are true, and you're just like, I'm gonna own this, and I'm just gonna think about the things that my higher self would do. So I'm gonna post Jessie's channel below and some of the videos, because the videos are really helpful. But one thing that she talks about is just like staying true to your higher self. So like if you're saying, you know, I want to work out 3 times a week, and you wake up every morning, you're like, I'm too fucking lazy to work out, I'm not gonna go work out today. It's like your higher self wouldn't do that. Like your higher self would get up, they'd be like, I'm excited to go work out, or I'm excited to eat healthy food, or I'm excited to do this or that. And it's just about writing down what you want, figuring it out, and taking the actions that you would need to take if you were already there. So if you were already healthy and fit and trim and whatever, you would do things that healthy, fit, trim, confident people would do. So you'd go work out, you'd eat healthy, you'd smile, you'd be confident, you'd be all these things that you are limiting in your life right now because you feel like you're not worthy of being confident or sexy or healthy or whatever, because you're not perfectly, you know, you screw up. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Like I said, go check out Jessie's channel because she's really, really great, and she's a good friend of mine. And I will see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for writing me all these questions. Sorry, I literally can't get to all of them, but if you guys want me to answer some more in another Q&A, I can totally do that for you. So let me know in the comments below if you want another Q&A. There's probably another 100 questions, so I can definitely do another one. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.